We're all about turning a crappy situation into something positive.
$250,000 of credit
I
card debt.
still remember the day when no one turned up.
Throw it in the garbage and start from scratch.
I could give myself a chance, so I started something.
I mean, I think that counts as from poop to gold.
Our sponsor for this episode is our 14-day video script challenge.
Yes, we are sponsoring our own show.
Yes, we are. Hey guys, welcome back to From Poop to Gold. I'm Daniel Harmon, Chief Creative Officer at Harmon Brothers, and your host. And today my guest is Chris Strub. Welcome, Chris.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Great to be here.
Thanks for coming and joining today.
Absolutely.
So Chris is the author of a really cool book that I haven't read yet, but the title alone is cool.
Yeah.
It's 50 States in 100 Days. And essentially what Chris did is he ran all around the country to every state, and the first person ever to Snapchat from every single state in the union, right?
Yeah. Snapchat and live stream video. Yeah.
There you go. Snapchat and live stream video. Been featured on a lot of news outlets. There's been a lot of interest there.
Lots of earned media and tons of podcasts too.
Yeah.
Like, I love doing the podcast circuit. We have lots of mutual friends we were talking before we got going too.
Yeah.
So it's an exciting story to tell for sure.
Awesome. And then as another part of that, you have diverted some of your focus to helping other businesses be able to tell their stories in the digital age, and with a particular passion for nonprofits, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So the big idea behind 50 States, 100 Days, again, is the travel. And we can talk about the marketing element of it, going to all the different states consecutively. But really, the true passion came with working with the nonprofits. So in each state, I would work with a different youth-related nonprofit organization, and I would commit some sort of volunteer time. So each state, there was some different kind of task that I would execute on. Then we would sit down kind of, for an interview like this, do a little Snapchat interview, and then be back on the road to the next stop.
That sounds like a ton of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It's a lot of work.
It's a ton of work to do that much travel.
Yeah. And to do it kind of by myself was stressful. The book kind of tells the stories of the up and downs, and as does the film as well. And then the idea of doing it without a sponsor as well. It was really difficult to just I committed basically my life savings to get out there because I believed that this was a story worth telling and it was an idea worth executing upon.
So no sponsors at all for the length of the entire 100 days?
Technically no sponsors.
Okay. Wow.
I had a national restaurant chain, Hard Rock Cafe, but they said, you cannot call us a sponsor. So if I found a city with a Hard Rock, like here in San Diego, I would stop at the Hard Rock, have a free meal, but not a single paycheck.
Oh, there you go. But they did spot you a burger here and there.
Burger and a strawberry lemonade.
There you go.
Every city, Seattle, Hawaii. Yeah.
That's amazing.
No, it was, it was an idea worth executing upon. And I decided, when I die, is this a story that I want people to know about me? Yeah. So let's do it.
Something that'll live well beyond you and be a really cool thing for people to tell. So let me ask this then. Before jumping out on this adventure, I'm assuming you were well into Snapchat prior to that and doing live streams and all that kind of stuff. So what was your journey to get to this point? So take us a little bit through that.
So I studied journalism. I went to school in Binghamton, upstate New York. I worked at a newspaper out of college for about 10 years, and I was part of that evolution of the industry. And I use evolution lightly. It was more like just a cut after cut after cut of the staff, this churn almost of
old media.
Of old media just sort of passing by.
Yep.
But then the editors and the publisher would come and say, hey, Chris, can you help us update the website? Hey, Chris, can you help us share this on Facebook? Hey, Chris, can you post this to our Twitter page? And I saw that game turning, and I said, this social media thing, this was 2008, 9, 10, 11, right? So I was like, this social media thing has some legs.
Yes.
I need to go all in on this. So I ended up working at an advertising agency. And then eventually the idea was, okay, I want to go be Casey Neistat.
Okay.
I'm going to go travel the country and I'm going to be this Snapchat celebrity.
Yeah.
Right. So that was the idea. So I actually did a road trip before 50
Casey
States, 100
was a
Days.
lot of your inspiration.
Oh,
with this.
sure. You know, and again, you get caught up, you get transfixed by the magic of likes and retweets and shares and that social currency.
Yeah.
And you say, I can do that.
Yeah.
So actually in the summer of 2014, I quit my job and I went to 48 states in 90 days, but it didn't have the tie-in to the nonprofits. I know this is a little complicated, but we'll get there.
So
So I did a 48 state trip.
Some legwork that you did
I did
beforehand. Okay, that makes more sense.
A 48-state trip in 2014. Where I just wanted to be that social media celebrity.
Wow.
But it didn't have any tie-ins to social good. It didn't have any sort of philanthropic legs to it. And when that trip was over, I felt empty inside.
Oh, wow. And I said, you're like, this was supposed to be amazing. And here I'm like,
yeah, but life is not about getting double taps on Instagram. You know what I mean?
You just shattered my world, Chris. I get it.
I really thought that just traveling would be the step to magic and the step to superstardom.
Okay.
And it wasn't.
Okay.
And I still don't know that I'll ever find that step to superstardom, but that's not what it's about anymore.
Right.
The idea is really that I want to take the skill set that I've developed to be able to share stories on the move and bring it to organizations whose stories deserve to be told. And I've been very blessed since going on that trip to have opportunities to work with some major brands. We talked about the Salvation Army as well, getting to work with Giving Days now around the US. That's really... Again, I don't care how many likes a photo gets on Instagram.
Right.
It's about the opportunity to share the message and help bring exposure to these organizations where people are spending their lives improving their communities one day at a time.
That's so awesome. So just to give you, like, as you're saying this stuff, it's like chills going up and down my spine because
it's fun.
Because our mission at Harmon Brothers is to share better stories.
Yeah.
Ad making is one aspect of that. And so literally as we make ads for different companies, we're like, is this going to make the world a better place by doing this? And what's so interesting is when you went out the first time and kind of did all this traveling and stuff, and you saying you came back empty, it's almost like you were, correct me if I'm wrong, but a little bit inwardly focused.
Correct.
And then the second time you went out, essentially you reflected that, right? You went outwardly focused of who can I help with this? And then I'm assuming that changed everything for you.
Yeah, I don't want to describe, my previous work as selfish, but it was certainly focused on building the Chris Strub brand.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. I don't think there's anything malicious about it, but it didn't have that substance to it that people were interested in or excited about. Right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this guy's out on vacation. He's out on the road trip. What's the big deal?
Yep.
When you start to use your voice and you use your message to support others and to bring attention to those who have no idea what a Facebook Live broadcast is, or how do I post on Snapchat, right? That we live in a different world. This is so different from what people are experiencing on a day-to-day basis, at the Salvation Army or Big Brothers, Big Sisters or the Boys and Girls Club, that I want to be an ambassador and I want to try and help bring some of that magic and some of that attention to what the great work, again, that's being done in these communities everywhere.
I love that. That's so awesome what you're doing. Now, let me ask a very specific question.
Yeah.
Can you name or tell a story of one of these experiences of one of these nonprofits that you got involved with in different states, but specifically one that stands out to you as like, holy mackerel, of like, if I hadn't gone on this trip and I just had this one experience, or like if I'd done all this and only had this one experience, I'd be good. That kind of a thing. Like where one of them that just really stands out to you is like, wow, that was worth the whole thing, kind of a thing.
I'm sure there's somebody watching this or listening to this right now who knows the story that I'm going to tell, which is really exciting, right?
Awesome.
That when I talk about visiting the Boys and Girls Club of Cheyenne, Wyoming, which if you pop that book open to about the halfway point, this is where I really started to hit my stride because I recognized I'm going to make it home.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it back. So I made it to Cheyenne, Wyoming. And I would do an interview kind of like this that we were talking about. And there's a knock on the door and the staff member comes over and says, Chris, Abby has requested your presence. Do not leave the premises here without speaking to Abby. And in my mind, again, we're interviewing like this, right? We're live on camera.
Yep.
And I'm like, who the heck is Abby? What is this, right? I already met the director I met the whole staff. So
this is of the Boys and Girls Club.
The Boys and Girls Club of Cheyenne, Wyoming, right? So we wrap up the interview. You know how it works, right? We're going to turn the camera off.
Yeah.
I get my keys. I'm like, I got to get back on the road. Thank you so much. They go, have you seen Abby yet? And I go, oh no, I have not seen Abby. They go, come on. They take me by the hand, lead me down the hallway, open up the door, and at this picnic table facing away from me, there is this 6-year-old girl with her blonde hair flowing in the wind. And she turns around and she's sitting there. And imagine meeting Bill Gates or Elon Musk, right?
Yeah.
But you're at this picnic table out at the Boys and Girls Club. And she goes, Chris, I've been waiting for you. And I'm like, you're 6. What is happening here? I had some questions for you, and I didn't get to speak to you before when you were addressing the crowd. And that idea that you get it as a business owner, right? That idea of grabbing the bull by the horns. When you see an opportunity to speak to someone and you have questions and you want to understand where they're coming from and what they're about and how they can help you. Meeting that one little girl who said that she wanted to be the first girl president. She wanted to climb the highest mountains, and she wanted to help people. And I was just blown away. I'm like, you are the star of this trip. You are the reason that I am out here. You are the reason that I went to all 50 states. I don't need to go to another state, because if I can for the rest of my life tell the story of Abby, the 6-year-old girl from Cheyenne, Wyoming, who wants to be the first girl president, then my life is complete.
That's awesome.
And for every Abby that I met out there, there's millions more.
Yeah.
And if I can inspire another 6-year-old girl out there, whether they're in Waukesha, Wisconsin or Tampa Bay, wherever you might be, my hope is to inspire those young people to do their own thing and to follow their dreams the way I did with 50 States, 100 Days.
That's awesome. I had an experience where I was at an ad agency out in Chicago, and one of the days of work was to take the whole company and go work at the Boys and Girls Club in Chicago and work with some of those inner city kids that really came from rough backgrounds and everything. It was like my highlight of the whole time. Time there at that ad agency. It really is an amazing experience just to go outside yourself and kind of put yourself in somebody else's shoes and think about their lives for a moment. And rather than we're always, kind of thinking about our own thing. It changes you,
And this is why I'm so bought into the bigger concept of what I call road trip marketing.
Yeah.
This idea of, again, we're at this big conference. There's thousands of influencers a couple blocks away.
Sure.
Where take 1 or 2 of them, or fill up a van with 6 or 8 of them and send them out into the country to find these stories and be able to learn and see that firsthand, and then use these mediums like we're talking here on video. To authentically share those stories. I think, again, the idea of 50 States, 100 Days was great. The execution might have left a little bit to the imagination, because I was out there just holding, an iPhone. I had a little GoPro, and that was pretty much it. But I mean, even the cameras that I see here in this room, I think about the potential impact of a journey like that if done properly. And executed on with a DSLR, with microphones where you can actually hear what people are saying. And you get the chills. Right? But it's about the idea, to me, it's about thinking episodically, just like you guys are doing a bunch of podcasts here this week. It's about thinking about that sequence of stories that you can tell on an ongoing basis, and then the accumulation of learning and contrasting between those stories in the greatest country in the world.
That's awesome. Awesome. Okay. So let me ask a couple more questions then.
Sorry, I go on and on.
No, going on and on is great. That's what you're here for. So this podcast is called From Poop to Gold.
Love it.
And so much of what we ask of people is, everyone has one, but in your life or even in your career, whatever it is, a time when you had a really crappy situation that you were able to turn into something good or even something great. You were able to turn it from something bad to something good.
I think every time someone comes across the story of 50 States, 100 Days, to me, that's the big idea of something crappy to something great.
Okay.
Because somebody watching or listening to this is going to be inspired by this story.
Okay.
Someone might pick up the book. Someone might end up seeing the film. I mean, as lovely as the book is, it was incredibly stressful. And I have to be, let me open up a little bit here. It's still incredibly stressful because I still don't work with the brands. I'm still not getting the paychecks. It's still very much a struggle being out here.
Yeah.
But I believed when I quit my day job back in 2014 that this was a 5, 10, 20-year plan, that I believed in the power of this story. And it's been really difficult trying to make my own way. It's been really difficult trying to make ends meet. I'm an Uber driver. I work part-time at a pizzeria in South Carolina because finding those partnerships has been really tough.
Yeah.
So for me, the idea of going from poop to gold isn't like it's not an aha moment.
Yeah.
It's a
journey.
I'm in that what's the phrase with a butterfly, right? Like I'm getting there.
Yeah.
It might take me another 5 years or 15 years.
But you're currently in the process of it.
I hope so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that all I can really do is trust and believe in the power of my story and my message and do the best that I possibly can, connect authentically with people, help people as much as I can. And you hope that those opportunities arise. And I've been blessed to have some of those moments. Again, you connect with someone like Joel Comm. Joel wrote an article that was published on Inc. About, Snapchat creators doing it right.
Yeah.
And that article got seen by the marketing agency from the Salvation Army.
Okay. Yep.
And that led to a 25-state road trip with the Salvation Army in November and December of 2017.
That's great.
If you want to call that poop to gold, that was great.
Yeah.
But again, until everyone, I want to be Jack Kerouac.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I want to be Johnny Appleseed.
Can you write like him?
Well, call me next week when you read the book.
Okay,
you let me know. I mean,
awesome.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
And that's
awesome.
all we can ever do in our lives.
That's awesome. So let's, let me dive a little bit into your creative process, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I think people will be really interested in this, and I know it's something you're passionate about. Talk me through that. How much of your process, is when you get an idea? Do you see where I'm going with this? Is this a good enough launch out point?
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Let me look right into the camera here.
Yeah.
Done is better than perfect.
Awesome.
Okay. The idea of stepping forward, having a great idea and executing upon it has been my mantra since, 50 States, 100 Days, and even before. Now, you can go back, and I invite you and your team to, if you're in that existential dilemma, to execute on the idea, maybe without some of the resources that you think you might need, and then say, ooh, this would have been better with those lights. This would have been better with those cameras, or maybe I should have hired that company to help us with this, and it would have turned out a little bit better. But life doesn't wait for your marketing campaigns to roll out.
That's right.
Time keeps on rolling on. And another phrase that I often use is that not taking action is an action.
Yes, that's what my mom used to say all the time. Inaction is an action.
We live in a time where if you're not innovating, you're dying. I mean, how many brands can we name, both of us off the top of our heads, that have just crumpled up and died?
Yep.
How many, every week it's another one that says, oh, our revenue is down and we have to shut down 200 locations, or, our neighborhood mall is shutting down. I mean, you have to move with pace in this era or you're going to die.
And for you, that looks like you said, just taking your iPhone, taking a GoPro, and then just making an idea happen when it comes.
For me, as an independent creator, I believe deeply in the power of the idea.
Okay.
I also believe deeply in the power of coming to an event like this, or, these different conferences. We were talking about Vid Summit, and there's hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And having that one-to-one conversation where you find that person who does have the resources, but who doesn't have that creative juice.
Right.
And they say, oh my God, that is brilliant. Let's work together and make that happen for our company.
Yeah.
So the resources are out there.
Yes.
But if you really believe in the power of your message and you don't let anyone ever move you off of that idea.
Yeah.
That's where I am at this point, right? I love the idea of road trip marketing. I love the potential of it for any brand out there that has any sort of national or international presence.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant. And I think someday it's going to make some brand a ton of money.
Yeah.
Now, that may not be 2019 or 2020 or 2021, but when I see the direction that our industry is moving in, it's that direction of authenticity, of making human connections, of sharing our own stories, and of listening to your audience and being there in person. Thus, the name of my company is I Am Here, and listening to what your audience has to say and then creating content based off of that. It's this particularization, that the egalitarian nature of social media means that we have to listen to what our audience is saying, or they're going to go to someone else who is listening.
Absolutely. I love it. I love your passion, man. It comes all the way through. It's so great.
Dude, I'm jazzed. I love talking about it. And I'm very, very grateful for you guys having me on this week. I mean, this is just tremendous.
We're grateful for you coming on, and it might just be the yellow shoes and the yellow hat, but I'm okay with that. Whatever it is. He's like Chris's color. You've just you have just committed to this color yellow, which I think is awesome. My wife loves yellow. But I think it's amazing. Obviously, it has some roots, like you said, in Snapchat and Meerkat and stuff. But makes a lot of sense.
Well, it has roots in positivity.
Yeah.
And that energy,
the psychology behind it.
That I want people, and it was incredible this morning. Color. Being here at the event, and just just walking down, heading over to the bathroom or whatever, and you just see people spot you from across the room and they come running across and they jump in your arms and you're like, social media helped do that.
Yeah, I know.
Right? We know each other. I see you once a year, or I've never met you before, but you feel like you can come over and jump in my arms. Or you say, I bought a ticket because I want to come see you.
Yeah, that's incredible stuff, right?
That's the power. And that's not gimmicky.
Yeah.
That's not a slogan or a logo.
Yeah.
That's connecting authentically with the people that want to hear from you and paying attention back to them.
Yeah.
And that's what's so exciting in the industry that we're in now is that two-way conversation.
Yeah.
To be able to hear what people are looking for. And oftentimes it's about them. It's not about you.
Yeah. Awesome. It's always about everybody else. It's never about us. Let's be honest.
It's true.
Like that really is the key to happiness in life is when you go inward and start caring about yourself, you get what you least want. And when you go outward, you get what you most want. Right?
And I think when your actions follow your morals, right, and your integrity, and you understand how you want to be. I always think about how I want to be remembered when I die. Yeah, we could walk out of this podcast studio and get hit by a car. Yeah. And if that happens,
please no.
No. Let's not have that happen. I got to present this week.
Yeah.
But I legitimately think about that every single day that I wake up is if this is the last day that I have on earth, am I making the most of it?
Yeah.
Right. And it's the same thing. Again, I told you 50 States, 100 Days ended 2 days before my 30th birthday because I wanted to I wanted my 20s to be remembered for that journey, and hopefully it's working.
That's awesome. Where should people find you? Where do you want them to look you up?
Well, you can come find me here in San Diego. But certainly my website is teamstrub.com and I'm very accessible across all my social channels, but especially on Twitter.
Teamstrub.com, STRUB, right?
That's correct.
Teamstrub.com, yep.
And at Chris Strub on Twitter, Instagram. I got to work on my YouTube channel. Maybe we could talk after this off camera or something. I got a couple hundred subscribers on YouTube, but I need to buy some of these nice cameras or something. Step it up a little bit. This is a pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
What's your next big thing?
That's what I'm here to try and figure out, man.
You're in the process.
Again, we're screening the film. It's called 50 States, 100 Days, the film. It is.
So the film's a big part of that.
It is a project commissioned by Schofield Digital Storytelling out of Indianapolis. Okay. So I'm looking to book speaking engagements and stuff where we're going to do screenings of the film throughout the summer. So I'll be in Lima, Ohio. I'll be in keynoting Social Media Day Houston and a bunch of different events throughout the summer. But really, I'm here and I'm at all these different events looking for the next big brand. Yeah. That has the guts and the gusto to say Roadtrip Marketing is brilliant. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, let's sponsor you. Let's get this going.
Yeah.
Awesome. I hope you get it, man. Pray you do. That'd be great. I think it'll happen. I think it's going to happen one way or another. It's just a matter of time.
Got my fingers crossed and I'm patient, man.
Yeah.
This whole trip was almost 5 years ago now. And it's just incredible to hear, again, when you hear about it for the first time or you hear the story of Abby for the first time, when you get those chills, that tells me that that's a story that has forever legs.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, I've got a gift for you for joining From Poop to Gold, and it is a book called From Poop to Gold.
Wow, look at that.
Which
thank you.
We had an author follow us around for 3 years, document kind of our entire process. He identified 3 kind of major things that Harmon Brothers is built on, which is creative processes, creative culture, and creative partnerships.
Thank you so much. This has really been an honor and a pleasure. And
thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. Thank you, guys. Remember to subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. And we'll see you on the next one.
As entrepreneurs and small businesses, we all kind of reach that point where we know we've created something awesome and we want to share it with the world, right? Mm-hmm. And it's that very next step that can oftentimes be really intimidating or really scary, or you just don't know where to go next, right? And the beautiful thing about this 14-day script challenge is you get your hand held from, okay, you have this cool product, now let's go research and find the exact way to present it and message it to the world in a way that resonates and gets people excited and they're ready to swipe their credit card and purchase. And in the 14-day script challenge, you get the opportunity to go through that step by step with our writers who have done it dozens and dozens of times.
Yeah, you actually watch us go through each of the steps ourselves and create it with a real client, a real product, and it's a real campaign that's out there that's been very successful.
That's right. And the feedback that we've had on this thing has just been phenomenal. I mean, we get comment after comment and emails flowing in from people all over the world who have just raved about the impact that this has had on their business.
People tell us over and over again, it is just a huge value punch for the investment for this 14-day script challenge, and really gave them the tool set they needed to walk through it and make it happen.
And we've had dozens of students who have successfully taken the challenge, written their script, launched their ad campaigns, and driven success for their business. It's pretty amazing.
For more information, go to hbros.co